right, perfect. So hello and welcome everyone to our webinar to look forward and stay ahead, proactive revenue decisions powered by Lighthouse. My name is Marc Westermann, Senior Product Manager here at Lighthouse, and I'm overlooking all of the benchmarking parts of our Lighthouse platform, and I'm going to be joined by Heidi Cosio today, Senior Director, Solutions Engineering. Heidi, do you want to say hi?
Hey, good morning, everybody. It's great to be here. Thanks, Marc.
Perfect. Cool. Before we dive in, just a quick reminder, this is a public space, so please don't share exact pricing numbers and strategies with other attendees. Let's keep a conversation focused on best practices and trends that we're trying to share here today to get each other forward on this really important topic. So just a quick word on Lighthouse. So at Lighthouse here, we are the leading commercial platform for the travel and hospitality industry. We continually innovate and deliver the best platform for hospitality professionals to price more effectively, measure performance more efficiently, and understand the market in new ways. We're trusted by over 70,000 hotels in 185 countries, and it's the only solution that provides real-time hotel data and short-term rental data in a single platform. And today we're excited to talk to you a little bit about looking forward and staying ahead. First of all, we're going to be starting with what it means to be more proactive and less reactive in your day-to-day work. We're outlining a weekly action plan that's putting additional emphasis on forward-looking data. And then thirdly, we're going to be diving into the Lighthouse platform to look how that's happening in practice, how you can use forward-looking data in action with the Lighthouse platform to improve your strategic positioning and pricing as well. So we're talking to a lot of our customers, and one of the questions that keeps coming up is how can I become more proactive in my revenue strategy and less rely on reactive measurements here. And that's something that we've been thinking a lot here at Lighthouse, and we want to make sure we share this with you. So just to quickly define, as reactive, right, would be making today's decisions with yesterday's data. We see this oftentimes when using historic data to, get information on your past performance and how that affects your future performance, right? And this is something that we see we're using lagging indicators of success rather than looking at the future and seeing how we can still improve the future performance from that as well. What we've also been seeing is that there's oftentimes, other tools there that have a slow, unintuitive interface that sometimes results in the low confidence of the data that you're looking at because the data might be stale, and there's a lot of time and money wasted waiting for these to upgrade. In contrast to that, we are standing for a proactive approach to using real-time data and forward-looking market and benchmarking intelligence to really make sure you're ahead of the competition and spot competitive trends early with leading indicators, right? So things that you can still influence within your revenue strategy if you're looking at forward-looking data to understand your entire competition within the market, really making sure you can maximize your market share from that as well. So that's how we define reactive and proactive. And that's something that kept coming back to us when we talk to our customers. According to a recent poll by Lighthouse, the most common issues faced by revenue managers right now to really get to the bottom of this is incorrect competitive sets and a lack of fresh data confirming that as well, to double down on the forward-looking data as well. So as we believe this is a really important part, we wanted to share with you how to put an emphasis on the forward-looking data with the Lighthouse platform. So for that, we've been working together with our customers to come up with a proactive workflow to just symbolize, how to utilize this data within the Lighthouse platform to make sure that you're ahead and can improve your RGI and your revenue in general. So in this hypothetical week, right, you would start on a Monday with a high-level review of demand data and pricing strategy, checking projected ADR, occupancy, and RevPAR against your comp set. Tuesday, you continue with monitoring event-driven demand in your destination and check sold-out properties. and further continue to look into demand spikes with flight and hotel search data, already predicting a little bit of what's to come within the market. Middle of the week, you'll be turning your attention to a little bit more monitoring. So Wednesday would be validating your competitive set with an AI-powered smart comp set. It allows you to look a little bit past your competitive set that you've already defined, to a little bit more of other competitors that might come up within your Booking.com, your guest Booking.com searches, etc. So that's something that we're going to be looking at in just a second as well. And then you start executing confident rate changes, just LOS offerings based on the insights gathered throughout the week. Thursday, tracking booking pace against your Comstat and Smart Comstat, and continuing with analyzing pickup from the last 7 days and see how the weeks changed the booking velocity, and really see how you can make the forward-looking impact with that. And then to close, there's a little bit more of the strategic topics, looking ahead on the Friday, making final pricing adjustments for the upcoming weekend by reviewing the short-term projections in your demand heat map, which is something that we're going to be showing in just a second. Reviewing your performance against the market penetration index, MPI, or occupancy index to gauge your market share captured for the week. And then end the week by identifying emerging demand spikes for the next 30 to 90 days to stay ahead of the curve, right? So really looking at, additional events that might have popped up, anything else that needs your attention, to make sure that you're already priced correctly for the next 30 to 90 days, really taking advantage of all of that demand data that the Lighthouse platform is offering. So without further ado, you are probably very interested in how that's looking like in action. So I'm going to ask Heidi to commence with a demo of how that would look like within the Lighthouse platform. Heidi.
Thanks, Marc. Thank you for sharing all of that great information with us. I'm going to take a moment to share my screen, but while that's coming up, I just want to start with kind of an overall view of what the two platforms are that we think work best within the Lighthouse platforming, that share with you how to look forward and stay ahead of your market trends. So hopefully you're familiar, but if you're not, we have two modules called Market Insight and Benchmark Insight. And just a quick overview, Market Insight is one of, I think, the most overlooked tools that Lighthouse has to offer. It does a great view of intent to book demand, which is a really new concept and an interesting idea. So what we do with Market Insight is we take a look at how the customer is looking to book, not how the customer has already booked and what segments they've already booked into. But Market Insight wants to look at what are the airline searches looking like? How heavy are those airline searches? What are the hotel searches looking like? Where are they searching? How are they searching? And compiling that together in this incredible platform to let you know, hey, as time gets closer to the date or the event, how is the individual traveler searching? And how is that affecting your marketing campaigns and your bookings? We'll flip over to Benchmark and kind of show you how they work together. But Benchmark is where you take a look at what is already on the books. So you have the intent to book and how consumers are searching. And then you have Benchmark, which tells you how they actually booked. And you can utilize that information to see what's successful, what's kind of driving that business forward, and then maybe take a look at that combined with the intent to book and where your marketing dollars are best spent. So that's a kind of a quick overview of what the platforms are typically used or utilized for. So let's kind of dive down into that week that Marc was talking about, where we're looking at, hey, certain days of the week, we need to maybe look at certain different elements to stay proactive. So we start off our week trending into wanting to look forward and look further into the future. So for example, in the demo hotel that we're looking at, this hotel in particular is in a very seasonal market, right? They have a great season in a couple of months at the beginning of the year, and then it sort of tapers off towards the middle of the year when the months get hotter. So right now, it's almost October. So we are trending into 90 days or so to their high season. So what we want to know and understand is, how is some of that high season trending 6 months out in advance, which is a long way out to kind of look and consider what is doing well, what is not doing well. So we start off in Market Insight, which is what is on your screen today. And one of the great things about Market Insight is you have some flexibility to look at the date ranges you're looking at, you want to view, but you also have this lovely heat map calendar off to the left. And it's really simple. Blue is cold, red is hot, meaning, hey, the intent to book is really low or the intent to book is really high. And it gives this great, just quick color call out to time periods you might want to look at. So let's scroll well into the future. We want to take a quick look at March, which is one of our highest demand months that we know is coming. And take a look at March. March is really interesting. Here's this March area. March has got a lot of blue during the week and a lot of red on the weekend. So we know that the red is going to be really high intent to book demand. And the blue, there's not a lot of searching going on. So how can we have that help work with us? So if we look over here to the demand forecast map, the demand forecast map is kind of showing us by day in the month of March how that kind of fluctuates over time. You can see the blue bars here showing you that low demand, low search demand, and then the red bar showing you the higher search demand. And then you have your price level. And I'll turn this on and off so you can kind of see it. You see the little line graph that shows your price level. And it's kind of showing you, hey, what is your price point that you have out there and how is that comparing? So I have the ability to see, okay, how, if I hover over, how is my rate during the week looking? And here, and this little call out is great because it's telling me, hey, your price is higher than expected. Current demand is normal. It's not really changing much. And you need to look at how the on the books is changing within the market. It's not giving you any kind of directionality. It's just calling out a data point. Hey, you're a little bit higher price than you would have anticipated being higher price for this time period. So maybe that's something that you can look at. What I want to see here, though, is we're talking about being into the future and looking at how we can be proactive about our strategies in the month of March. So I'm looking at this and I'm going to maybe take a different approach or angle. Hey, we look to be doing well on the weekends. The search demand is really high. Our pricing is really high. We're kind of trending the way we want to, which is great because that's where we're going to make our money. How do we close the gap during the week? So I know this is one of the biggest challenges from a high season perspective. So what can we do to close the gap during the week? This is a great time to spend some marketing dollars to try and close that gap, try and pick up some of those shoulder nights and try and move some of that business during the week. So now we know, hey, we've got these kind of cold dates. What's booking on those cold dates? Because you can see I have some on the books. I'm at 23% occupancy. So something is booking for us. So this is a great way now to switch over into benchmark. So now we know, okay, we've used market. We know there's great intent to book on the weekends, but we're already well prepared for that. How do we kind of move the needle in a proactive way for those weekdays where we need a little bit more business? So let's go over to benchmark and let's see what's actually booked. So benchmark is going to tell you how you're performing against several different competitive models. So while this loads, just talking kind of through those competitive models really quick, we have Smart Comp Set, which is, I think, my favorite thing. Smart Comp Set takes a look at how the competitors are searching for your hotel and who they're choosing when they don't choose to book for you. It's taking a look at how your location is, what your pricing is like, what your amenities are, your distance to certain city centers, things like that. It's doing that all in the background for you to produce a set of hotels it thinks you should be looking at or taking into consideration, right? Then we're looking at also a radius, which is like hotels within a certain distance from your hotel. And then it can go up and look at market class, which is all the hotels in your market that are at the same class level that you are. And then we can go even further and look at market, which if, say, for instance, like me, I'm in the Dallas market, it would show me all the hotels in the Dallas market area. So you get these multiple comparisons that you can look at. So we're going to stick with, hey, we want to look at the month of March. So we're going to come in here and we are going to pull the month of March. And I've already got this pulled up for us. Right? In the month of March, we're going to see every single day listed out here on the benchmark. And I'm going to take away some of these visuals to make it a little bit easier for us to identify some things. So we can see right away that my hotel there is in black and that my occupancy level is doing really well. My smart comp set is that one in orange, and it's doing okay also. And then my market class is trending along the lines, but not quite as strong as I am. So I want to know, hey, I'm doing really great. Look at these weekdays. I'm doing great by comparison. So here's a little flash. I'm doing 1 of 5 in occupancy, right? I'm up 4% in the last 7 days. I've got 5% occupancy on the books. My smart comp set and market are only at about 1%. Something is booking into my hotel. So again, remember, we're trying to see how we can close the gaps during the week to drive that marketing business. So I want to scroll down to the bottom here where I have my segmentation listed out and broken down for me. And you have a bunch of different segmentation options here within transient and in group. And we can see that right here, wholesale is driving that occupancy at 5.5%. So this is actually really fantastic because wholesale does some great marketing opportunities. So you can kind of lean into some of that marketing. So instead of saying, hey, maybe we don't necessarily need to do marketing in the OTA segment, or we don't need to throw out a random stay more, save promotion, because that's not what's actually booking. What's actually booking is wholesale. So how can we drive additional weekday wholesale business in this particular instance to kind of boost that occupancy? It's also on the reverse side. If it's coming in all of the weekends for you, maybe you want to restrict some of that wholesale. So coming in and kind of doing the opposite and saying, okay, well, it's great for the weekdays, but not for the weekends. How can I kind of tailor that to what I need? So that's kind of a quick overview on the first half of the week to say, hey, this is how you can use market and benchmark for long term. But Marc also mentioned how you can use it for short terms. Let's go back to market. And we want to look at this weekend or something close to that, right? Because we want to look at just short-term business. So here's the short term, and it's great because the next 2 weeks for us from a short-term perspective are blue. They're very cold. So what can we do? So I'm going to go through and I'm going to change this. I can do a custom date range just so you guys can see how quickly this works. And I want to look at just the next 4 days and hit apply. So this is going to change that analysis to show me, okay, what is the demand looking like for the next 4 days? How is the consumer booking or looking to book? It's pretty low, right? So it's pretty low. You can see, hey, the demand is low. There hasn't been much of a change. My on the books is not bad. I'm sitting at about 80%. The market's at about 57. There are 4 events going on in our area, right? But we also have this opportunity dot right here telling us, hey, on September 27th, which is, I believe, Saturday, right? Your price is higher than expected. So something's happened in the market. Hey, look, we're kind of full. We're at 90%, but we need to make sure that we get there. It's only 2 days away. And our price is higher than it normally is for this particular time period. So is there some opportunity for us to play around with that in that instance, right? So we can also go back now and flip over to benchmark, and we can say, do the same thing with benchmark. So I'm going to go back to benchmark here, and I'm going to choose those same exact dates. Hit apply, and it's going to take a minute to refresh while it goes through all of the data information. But let's take a look at what's on the books for Saturday and that 90% occupancy. Is there something that's going to help us get to that sellout? How can we continue to drive that forward? You know, is my rate position too high? Maybe because I have some room type sell-through abilities that I need to look at. So just kind of making sure that you're double checking some of that information. It is pulling a lot of data, so it does take quite a minute to load. Here's what's really nice is your transients at 23%, right? So as we scroll down, you've got some good retail on the books, right? Some decent wholesale again here. But again, there's definitely some opportunity maybe for some additional business. So what can you do to kind of drive a little bit more direct business? What can you do to kind of get some additional last minute business on the books? Is it a price point change? Hey, look at this retail price point. We're sitting at 4 of 5, so maybe you are high enough. Your smart comp set has a little bit more rate opportunity to show there too. So you definitely have some different options available to you when you're looking at benchmarking sort of that short-term window. So I would say that is probably 2 of the greatest examples from how do you kind of be proactive in looking for how to use market and benchmark in some more strategic ways versus more tactical ways. So Marc, I will turn that back over to you.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Heidi. That was really insightful. Just quickly sharing my screen again. To just quickly wrap up our quick look at the proactive way of looking and utilizing the Lighthouse data. So to look forward, stay ahead, we recommend really being proactive and not reactive, looking at the forward-looking data as Heidi was just explaining and going through the process of doing this analysis for both long-term and short-term analyses of your data. And what that includes is keeping an eye on future market behavior, right? Really understanding what's happening within that space, forecasting future competitor prices, and collecting and adapting to new data in real time as it comes in. So that's something that the solution is providing, right? Making sure that we update you with the freshest data that's being received, and making sure that you're not basing your strategies and pricing algorithms on stale data, basically. So that's how. That was a quick look on how we're looking at proactive versus reactive data in your day-to-day work. And now I'm going to be going over to a quick poll where you can see, where you can indicate if you're interested in learning even more about the solution that we're having here presented. And then we're going to be going into a quick Q&A, answer your questions with Heidi and me. Perfect. So any questions that you might have, please don't hesitate to put them in the chat, and we're happy to answer there as well.
So I see a great question, Marc, to kind of kick us off, which is a really great go back. So in the benchmark tool, are we able to see hotel names for the comp set used? And so I want to point out that I spoke only about our smart comp set, and the smart comp set, while you're able to kind of see how many hotels are included in that smart comp set, you are not able to see the names, but you do have some control over the flexibility of how those hotels appear. So like if you think that distance is more important than rate or location, you have the ability to flex some of that. In certain markets, we have unlocked comp set level view. So if you have the ability to have comp set level view and you select the hotels for your comp set, you would be able to see the names in that scenario.
Absolutely. Thanks a lot, Heidi. I'll take the next one from Devan. Is the market product separate from the rate strategy product? Yes, indeed. That is a separate product that we're happy to have another chat about via the poll. Talk to you one-on-one as well to further go into that and answer all of your questions. Perfect. I see another question. Teresa, do not have the benchmark tab yet. So that would be something we can activate for your subscription by booking a session with one of our experts, and then we're answering all of your questions in that as well. Good. All right.
I would love to go to Quebec.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sounds great. Sure.
Indeed. So we're expanding our coverage for benchmarking as we speak, with multiple unlocks per month. So definitely is something that we're expanding rapidly here, and really looking forward to also bringing it to Quebec. Absolutely.
And I do love this next question because custom reporting is my baby. So like, does any of the benchmark info integrate with custom reporting functionality? So as it stands today, it does not, but it is on our roadmap to pull all of our modules into custom reporting so that you can get all of that information at your fingertips, which will help kind of with some of the AI platforming that we're working on as well into the future. So not today, but yes, in the future.
Absolutely. All right. Any other questions? All right. Question from the team. So what's the biggest advantage from using forward-looking data compared to relying on only historical reports? Heidi, do you want to take this one?
Yeah, absolutely. So this is a really great question because I think a lot of times we're looking backwards and understanding how we did perform and then trying to apply that to future dates. And the future dates are not always the same, right? For a great example is if you took historical data information from the last 3 months in the market that we were looking at before that's very seasonal and tried to apply that to their seasonal high months, you wouldn't have a whole lot of luck. So it's not always the best. While historical data is very valuable and it can tell you where you've been, forward-looking data kind of helps guide you to where you need to go. especially from like a marketing and high-level strategic initiative. So
absolutely, yeah, it's the only data you can still influence, right? Historic is on the books.
You can do about what happened in the past.
Precisely. Absolutely. All right. Any other questions? All right. Maybe how confident do you feel currently in the accuracy of the market data you're using today? Any recent experiences? Anything you'd like to share?
It's great throwing a question back out to the chat.
Turning around sometimes, absolutely.
Oh, I think we just asked this questions ourselves internally, Marc. How often do you have such webinars to increase our knowledge? I'm happy that we are increasing your knowledge. That makes it worthwhile. It is, I understood, this is the 5th webinar we've done in the month of September, but on normal, it's usually about 2 to 3.
That's correct. Yeah. And we have rotating topics that give you information on a variety of topics, Kate. So don't hesitate to reach out for those.
And I love that you really enjoy using market insight. It's my favorite too. Unexpectedly.
Yes. Cool. We have another question from the team. What advice would you give hotels that are still skeptical about the accuracy of forward-looking benchmarking data? Yeah, that's a great question. So generally, we look at this in threefold ways. So first of all, there's been a lot of innovation in the industry recently with what pertains to data syncs and faster data syncs that can happen. So the data is more real time that you're basing yourselves on, right? So what I was mentioning earlier, right? We're a big proponent of real time data, no stale data, especially if you're looking at data that still changes, which is in the nature of forward-looking data. And we're taking data accuracy very, very seriously here at Lighthouse, right? So we have automated data checks that every time a new data point comes in, there's a rigorous check that we're doing. So you're really comparing apples to apples for all of our benchmark capability. And then thirdly, we're also, as Heidi was showing, right, there's multiple different data sources that we're using that can already give you an indication of the forward-looking data from multiple angles that helps you to further predict and analyze the future market behavior, right? So it's not only the OTB data from your hotels, but it's also search data that we're combining, etc., to really give you a holistic view of what the different parts of leading success factors are concerned, right? So it's really a look at from multiple angles that can really derive the best strategy for your hotel with data from multiple sources, basically.
Thanks, Marc.
Right.
We had a couple of good ones come in. One of them, Bob's asking if we have online learning resources. So I want to say yes, we do. And regardless of what module you have purchased within the Lighthouse platform, these are available to everyone. So if you're familiar, when you log in, there's a little chat box at the bottom right-hand corner where maybe you've gone to submit a ticket. If you click on the little help button within that, you'll see a whole thing that pops up under the help button for webinars and learning series. It's the very first title bar. And it will give you these webinars and learning series specific to any of the modules within Lighthouse as well. And then another question too about data. You only work with star benchmarking data, correct? And Marc, since this is your product, would you like to take this one?
Yeah, absolutely. So we do have integrations with Star for some of our products, but we're also having our own benchmarking solution that pulls data from different sources that is proprietary to the Lighthouse platform. So that's a service that we're providing there with data that we're sourcing from different hotels, chains, brands, to really provide you with a holistic view directly within the Lighthouse platform as well. All right.
Lots of great questions this morning. Yeah.
Maybe another quick question from my side. What's the hardest part about forecasting demand at your property right now? Late booking patterns. That's a good one. So more need for real-time data, right? So as soon as the bookings come in, you can see how they affect you.
Of historical trends, that's a really great one too. Like on a couple different levels, right? Like if you're a new build hotel or you're new to the market, you don't have historical trends built up, or the fact that the trends keep changing.
Absolutely. All right. Cool. And then maybe one more question from my side. Do you regularly adjust your strategy based on upcoming events, demand drivers, or do you mostly rely on historic data? to make decisions right now. I know I'm all factors market insight added to that. Yeah, that's awesome to hear. We're already taking those into account. Perfect. And the events that Heidi was showing within our rate module. All right, perfect. Cool. Unless there's any other question that we could answer right now, it's been a pleasure showing you a little bit more about looking forward and staying ahead with the Lighthouse platform. If you have any additional questions or you're interested in these products, you can book a session as displayed on screen here, and one of our product experts will help you out. And it was a pleasure, and hope you have a great day. And thank you, Heidi, for hosting with me.
Thank you, Marc. Have a beautiful day.
Thank you.